Okay, so now let's see how the URL relates to the view. So how the URL and the view work together to create a template for the user to see something, basically HTML template, and how these things work together. So we can find the URL here on the root directory, and we can see this list here. So basically we'll be adding a couple of things here. We'll have more lists, etc. And these ones just relate with each other to with whatever is in the view to return something to the user who's opening the site. So when URL is typed, it finds the path and returns a page based on the view.py file it relates to. So what it basically does, it moves from once the URL has been input, it goes to the view.py file and sees what function it relates to, and then it returns something to the user, whether it's a certain response, whether it's an API or a HTTP file or it's a template. It returns that to the user. Let's look at this picture to understand it a little bit better. When you look at this picture, for example, in Facebook, when you go to the /about URL, this /about URL goes and activates this function. It can be a function or a class, and then this class renders this response and returns the about.html. So if it was an API and the data was coming from a different website, it would render the API, or if it was a HTTP response. But now we're just dealing with a template of HTML template. So this is what we mean by how the view, because this function here is in the view.py file. So by using this example, I hope it has been a little bit better to understand. Yeah. So let me show you an example of what I mean before we continue. Whatever I'm doing right now is basically a very redundant way of doing it, but I want you to understand what it means. We'll start by from Django .http. We'll import http response. Okay, then we'll just create a class here. We'll call it the home page. Home page. Then just put request here. Enter. Then we'll just tell it to return HTTP response. Put this home dash page. Okay, let's just create another one here, a contact one. We'll call it let's call it about, and right about here. Okay, so what we want now is to create paths here. So we'll go and create path. And for this path, we don't put anything inside here, so it realizes it as a home page. Let's just open this and click this, and you see this here. Oh, we have not run our server. Let me just run this server real quick. Sorry. Run server. Okay, refresh this. Yeah. So since we have nothing on our home page, this is the default thing that's on the home page, which is does not have slash anything here. So we'll just change that, and this is what it is. So we'll just replace this, and we will have comma home page here. Sorry, this is supposed perfect. Then we'll add another one, comma, enter, paste this here, comma, and we'll add the about slash, then we add right about here. Save this. Now when you come and click this, you can see home page here. When we go to the next one, slash about, you can see about. And that's how this basically works. Now it is rendering something that is on this URL page. The function is here, so the function will be on our views.py. So this will be a reflection of anything that's in the view.py, and we'll add from views.py, we'll add the specific function or class as we continue. Okay, so that's understandable. I hope you've understood that. We just delete this, remove this, then we are going to copy this, and we are going to paste it on the views.url path. We'll use it just right now on the views.py. And now what we want to do is go to students here, and then create a new file, which we'll call urls.py. You're creating a new url.py file on this, on our app here, which will be used to handle a couple of things. Let me just view here, layout, 2 columns. We'll click this, draw this here, close this. Okay, I'm not quite sure. I hope I've not made a change on that on the settings.py. I added the student app, but let's continue. And this is our URL. I will copy a couple of things here. So because we want our view.py here now to handle the request, the responses that will be received, so we'll just come here. We can write our function here, and or before even you do that, what we will do on this new URL here, we'll copy a couple of things, because we want this now to be responsible of processing all the URLs without having to come to the main directory to copy anything. So we'll copy this, paste it here. Okay, we'll take this pattern list, copy it, put it here. Then we'll go to the view.url. Now we'll create the functions again. Home, requests, enter, return, HTTP response, And remember, we have not taken this HTTP response, so we'll have to do it. Home, you'll have to import the HTTP response again. So from Django.http import HTTP response. Okay, we'll create other functions here real fast. Copy this, create another function here, which we'll call now the student data. Student data. Okay, and now what we want to do, we want to come here, we want to import these things. So what we do from the root directory, which is represented by that, import views. Save this, import views. Then we'll change this URL pattern here. Sorry, delete, just let's just delete this. That, then we'll have home here. Then now what we'll do, we'll copy this. Let's just copy this very fast. Paste it once. Have the student data here, and then it will be, let's say, student. That is good. Perfect. So we want this to handle everything, and what we want to do here now is, rather than have this, we can add include here. Include, let's add this one. It's actually written on this documentation here. If you read it correctly, you'll see include, import include, then you'll use it here, down here. So what we want to do, just remove this, and then we'll say include, and what we want it to include is, want it to include our new urls.py, which will be, which is in the students, then now the urls.py, and I think we just write URLs, it will notice that, and then we put them like that. I think it's fine now, because we want it to come, check on the students.url, then it will find this, it will include these URLs in that. Perfect. Let's see if it is functioning now. Our server is still running. We can come here. As you can see, it has said home is not defined, meaning that this home name is not defined. And when we come to views.py, there's home here. We need to save this. Home is not defined. Home, save this. It's supposed to come and use this function home, so I think it's fine now. Okay, let's just see what the error might be here. Name home is not defined. Line 6 on our students.url. Line 6 on our students.url, it says home is not defined. We have imported this correctly. Our home function is here. Okay. Control C, run server again. Okay, it still has a problem with the name home. It's not defined. Okay, the problem here is okay. Oh, we have not included this, so it's supposed to go to views, then go to home. Sorry, views dot home dot student data. We will save this, and when you go back here, we can see perfect. It's working. Zero silence. Perfect. No issues. So let's go back to our server here. Go to port this, and we can see home. We can go to the next one, student. What did we call it? Students. Yeah, student. I think I'll just rename it to students. Save this. Come here. Students. Enter. Boom. It is working perfectly, and they are all relating. So what have we said? This views.py is what we relate with the URLs, and we don't want the URLs to be on the root urls.py file. We want it to be on the students.url file. So if you have more and more applications, we'll have each application like this students app here. We can have another application which will have its own URLs, so it becomes easy for you to just maneuver and check on the URL paths rather than clogging them on the root file here. So we'll just include, and if you have another app which is called something else, we'll just include it through here. Copy this, paste it here, then change this to our new app if it's called lecturers, and then it will work perfectly. Okay, and yeah, so this is what will relate to that, and now we can work on this views.py. Now we can make these responses become a little bit look a little bit better rather than them just saying student data. We can work on now what the template or the HTML file should look like. Okay, now we have understood how the URLs work with the views, and now in the next video we are going to now make these HTTP responses to become better templates which have information that is helpful rather than just them displaying these basic things, and that is what we'll work with on the next video. Hope you've understood what I meant in this one. See you in the next one. Peace.